What's up, friends, and welcome back. Today is a huge day to be a Runescape player because we officially got our 2026 roadmap for Old School, and there's a lot of juicy updates coming out, including a Grandmaster quest where we will be going to the home of the vampires, Vampirium. But what I want to talk about today is the huge announcement for Raids 4. We got this pretty cool trailer today that gives us some hints about the context regarding where the raid might be, what it's about, and maybe even what it might drop. So let's take a look at it. Now, I know there are going to be some people out there who are not fans of this, but as of right now, this raid will require While Gothic Sleeps to complete because it's going to be a parallel in the storyline. Now, this is really cool for a lot of different reasons, and I noticed some lore hints and Easter eggs in the trailer. I'll cover those at the end after we get done with the requirements. But it looks like this raid is also not going to have puzzle rooms, and I'm a fan of that. I'm really not interested in slowing down, my fights to do a puzzle room. Tombs of a Masket isn't too bad, but either way, I would just rather, go straight through. It looks like, too, that they're going to be changing the mechanics after a few weeks. At first, it's going to be if your team wipes, the raid is over. But later on, it's going to be like infinite tries with dwindling resources and reduced rewards for each time you die. So I think that's pretty cool. The name of the raid is the Fractured Archive. And when I first saw the trailer, it reminded me so much of the RuneScape 3 quest, The World Wakes. And I've been looking at a bunch of the concept art for that quest, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to be some sort of analog of that because, for example, this is General Gardor here. He's a Bandos guy. In the trailer, you see, dead Bandos dudes. There's Zamorakians. There are Gothixian Guardians. There are Majorat, which it's mentioned, that this is going to be adjacent to that storyline. So there's Zamorak, which is, you see some dead Zamorakians in the trailer. So I definitely think that it's going to be an analog of this quest and this dungeon. Now, what that means for the drops, not sure, because again, RuneScape 3 is very different from Old School, but it looks like they're using a lot of the same themes here. One thing I thought was really cool, though, is this boss here, the skull guy. He is a modern interpretation of the really, really old concept art of what Guthix himself would look like. 20 years ago or so, this was in Postbag from the Hedge, and it was supposed to be Guthix. So I love when they take these really old designs and modernize them because, RuneScape has a very unique feel to it, and when they draw from really old source material, it always turns out good. It looks really creepy and unsettling, so, I like that. Also, there was some concept art here, which again looks just like the quest from RuneScape 3, The World Wakes. It looks identical to the inner sanctum that you fight your way through. We also have a little bit of concept art of this Justiciar boss here. He's pretty interesting. He kind of reminds me of Akka. I guess his name is Ezekiel. Looks like some giant Saradominist, warrior. So that'll be neat. I kind of wonder if his weapon might be, a reward from there. We have a lot of slash weapons, but, I'm sure there could be some sort of niche use for it, right? Now, they did a Q&A after the video was done about some of the concepts that they're looking at, and they talked about the reward space, and I expect that we're going to have our first non-weapon mega rare from a raid. They brought this up, and honestly, it's a good point. They were like, does a mega rare have to be a weapon? And I guess not. It could always be some sort of amulet that combines amulets. There's some stuff on RuneScape 3 they might draw inspiration from, but again, I think they need to keep power creep in check. So some of the stuff that I was thinking earlier, there's an Essence of Finality amulet from RuneScape 3. I think it would be way too overpowered. You can store a special attack inside of it from a weapon, you can destroy a weapon. Let's say you destroy a dark bow. Now you can use a dark bow spec with your best bow, which could be a higher tier. But yeah, I think that would be way, way too powerful. But again, it is interesting to think about the concept of a non-weapon mega rare. Now, as far as the weapon goes, I know I've mentioned this before, but I could definitely see some sort of heavy ballista type weapon, and they did bring this up during the Q&A. They did mention that some sort of heavy range, heavy ballista type weapon would be cool. And I didn't actually expect it to be a Gothixian raid. I thought it was going to be like around the Cursed Archipelago stuff, which I'm sure you guys, have seen my ranting and raving about it. But yeah, either way, I think it's very cool. It's very neat that they're going through the Gothic storyline and expanding on it further. And really, this gets me excited for the inevitable release of the Ritual of the Majorat. All of this story has a lot to do with various Majorat, and yeah, I can't wait to see what they do with it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments section, because right now this is super early. They're, of course, going to poll everything and see if we want it or not. And I'm curious what you guys think. Yep, leave me a comment, leave me a like, and I will see you guys next time.